Hey folks, welcome back, or of course, welcome to Lone Pine Tarot if this is your first time visiting, but either way, thank you so much for choosing to join me for our pick a card reading today. And today's topic was chosen by our community. If you saw my recent post over on my posts tab, I did put up a poll asking everyone just some feedback and opinions on what do you want us to see explore with tarot next. And the number one answer was a message for when you are doubting yourself. So this reading is for anyone who's been doubting themselves lately, doubting your choices, your feelings, or maybe even just your overall direction in life. So if you've been second guessing yourself more than usual, this message is meant to bring you some clarity and reassurance. So take a breath with me, choose the pile that you're drawn to, and let us see how your spirit guides want to support you today. So without further ado, let's choose your pile leaders to pick the messages with. So calling on spirit guides for our community today. Please guide us to the right cards for each pile. Thank you. Beautiful. That looks like pile 1 to me. There's pile 2. And I feel like this one for pile 3. Okay, let's unveil those. So for pile 1 over here on the left, your leader today is forgive. For our wonderful pile 2 in the middle, your pile leader today is purpose. And last but not least, for pile number 3 on the right, your leader today is balance. Wonderful. All 3 gorgeous cards. So pile 1 is forgive, pile 2 is purpose, and pile 3 is balance. Though as I always say, you're perfectly welcome to pause on this part of the reading if you need more time to decide what pile you would like read for you. My suggestion is always go with what your first gut instinct tells you. What card draws your eye in first, what feels right when you look at it. But whatever your method, when you are ready, you can drop down to the description box below, find the timestamp for your pile, and I will see you in our chat about a message for when you are doubting yourself. See you in the readings, everyone. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 1. Welcome to your pick a card reading for a message when you're doubting yourself. And as you recall, you were drawn to the card of forgive as your pile leader today. So as we always do with pile leaders, we'll set her over here to the left. And let's start today with your tarot spread. I'm going to ask your spirit guides to send some messages about the context around why you're doubting yourself, as well as kind of the future ahead for the situation that you're doubting yourself on, or in general too. Of course, there's always advice with these readings. So I want you to walk away from this reading feeling like not only no longer doubting yourself, but number 2, that you feel like you have enough advice to go into the future forward, feeling more prepared for wherever it is that you've been doubting yourself on. So beautiful. So here are your tarot cards. Thank you, spirit guides of pile 1 today. There we go. Okay, so unveiling your cards, first up to bat, we have the Explorer, or as it's often known in most decks, the Knight of Pentacles reversed. Then the second card today is the Child, or in most decks, the Page of Wands. Lots of court cards so far. Okay, let's see how the picture unravels more. We have the Four of Swords. Okay, that confirms a bit of what I already feel about this reading, pile 1. I almost wonder if you're doubting yourself because you feel like you haven't made enough progress on something. That's kind of the feeling I'm getting off of these cards, but let's keep going. We have, Judgment. That makes total sense too. I'll tell you this, you're making more progress than you think you are, especially when that Judgment card came up. Beautiful. And then last but not least, we have the Ace of Swords reversed. So that might be a bit of advice from your spirit guides on this situation. So let me talk about your tarot spread as I draw your oracle cards too. So yeah, the main reason why that first came to mind for you today was because the first card you got was, as I said, the Explorer / the Knight of Pentacles reversed. Now, oftentimes that represents situations where you either feel like you're not making enough progress fast enough on something, or you feel like something is going forward but it's been kind of sloppily done, or it feels like, oh, I feel like I kind of rushed through that, or maybe not even something within your control. It might have been that something went super fast outside of what you were able to control in terms of the pace. So that's generally the meaning of the Knight of Pentacles as a inciting incident card, as I always call the first one in my spread. Now, what that can mean, especially because it is a Pentacles card, which in tarot represents Earth, which represents resources, finances, stability, our career, our job, those things. I think for a lot of you, this doubt that you're having is related to those earthly things, as I said, money, job, etc. Okay, so I wonder if a lot of you, it might have been like you feel like you're not progressing enough at work in your career, or you feel like a project is going wrong, or it could also be that you feel like in general, if it's not just one specific thing, that like the overall like achievements that you've been making in terms of milestones in those areas of your life, maybe you feel like, oh, I'm just not going fast enough. Okay, even if it's not like one specific thing you can pinpoint it down to. So that's at least what I'm hearing from your spirit guides on that, from that having popped out first. Now, I will say this, pile one. I do see that you have exactly what it takes to do whatever this is that you're doubting yourself on. I think you actually come across as more capable, or you come across as more skilled, is maybe another word, than I think that you do. And I say that because the second card here is the Page of Wands. Now, that does indicate perhaps part of the doubt might stem from you feel like new to something, because the pages in tarot tend to represent like youthful energy. Literally, sometimes it's someone who's young, but it can also mean someone who feels like they're new to something. So I wonder if it's like a new job that you got, or like you got hired for a new job and you feel like you're not ready for it, or you feel like, oh man, I hope I live up to the standards of, you know, the manager that hired me. Or it could also be where it's like a new project at work. It's just some sort of newness there, where I think what's really causing the discomfort and your doubt is more along the lines of the newness of it. It's the change of it, rather than it being the actual objective truth of you not being ready for it, okay? Which is very normal. I mean, a lot of people, myself included, tend to feel like when we're new to something, or when there's like a lot of change, that, you know, we feel like, I don't know, we get that doubt in our minds. Like, oh man, I don't know if I can handle this. I don't know if I'm good at this. And sometimes even knowing whether or not we're good at something stems from experience with a certain area of life. Okay, so, I mean, like, a lot of times, you know, the old, I don't know if there's like necessarily a saying around it, but it's that feeling of the more you know about something, the more you know what you don't know. Kind of like the more wise or experienced you are with a certain area of life or skill set or job or whatever, I don't know. So what I'm saying is like, I feel like there might be some imposter syndrome here. That's kind of what I was leading into, is I think you're a little bit too hard on yourself. I think you are, especially when it comes to passion, because that's the area that the Page of Wands represents, being a fire card in tarot. You come across as more passionate and charismatic and confident than you think you do. Okay, that's another thing your spirit guides want you to know. However, I can see maybe why you're still doubting it, because in the very central card, or the heart of the matter I call it, we have the Four of Swords. And the Four of Swords, my friends, represents a time where we are at rest, just like those swords resting on the bench there. And it is like a wintry scene. In winter, of course, we always associate with this feeling of like downtime, because, you know, it's not like summer where we're out and active and everything is kind of buzzing around. It's not as chaotic as the other seasons, whereas winter, everything kind of slows down. Okay, so that's what the Four of Swords represents, is that rest. But just because it feels like things aren't moving on the surface does not mean that things are not being done or things are not being accomplished. And this is where this imposter syndrome, I think, comes into for you, pile one. I feel like you are looking outside of yourself for outside validation on, okay, where's the feedback? Where's the people telling me I'm doing good? Where is the tangible result that will show me like, oh yes, I'm doing wonderful? And I get why you would do that. I'm like that myself. I think everybody is. We want tangible results to show us the way because we think, well, what if I'm just deluded if I think I'm doing well? And even though there's not like outside evidence to show myself that or to prove that to myself, I guess is how I would put that. But just because you don't hear any feedback doesn't mean that the feedback is negative. You're kind of putting words in the universe's mouth there, or even in the mouth of others around you if there's even specific people that you want feedback from and you're just not hearing from. Silence does not mean that everything is bad. Silence just means that either maybe they haven't had the time to get back to you on something, or they've been distracted by other things and they just haven't thought to themselves, oh, I should get back to pile 1 on whatever that is and tell them how they're doing. Or, some of you, especially if it's a job related thing, it could be like maybe even your manager seems kind of quiet or mum and you're like really confused. You're like, well, I don't know. Like, tell me how I'm doing. Like, give me some constructive criticism, those things. And it's, if you feel like it's silence, it kind of almost like, oh, do people not care? So those kind of is where I see a lot of the doubts also creeping up, is in the silence. But your spirit guides are reassuring you with these. You're doing a lot better than you think you are. Okay, so just keep in mind that maybe you're suffering some imposter syndrome with this particular situation. Now, before I go on to talk about your final 2 cards, because I think these are kind of the advice cards, also Judgment is kind of a pat on the back too, because I always call it like the level up card. We'll talk about that in a second. And the Ace of Swords reversed is also a advice card, I believe. So I'm going to show you your oracle cards because I believe these will mostly also be advice related things. So first up, we had from the Cat Wisdom deck. I wanted some kitties today. I thought kittens would make everyone happy, especially if you're doubting yourself. It's never fun. So we'll bring in some kittens to bring a smile to your face. We have sustenance for you though, specifically. And the back says, pay special attention to how you nourish your body. Honor your body by making nutritious food choices. A healthy inside promotes a general sense of well-being and helps ensure your body is in the optimal condition to get the most from life. Now, I know that sounds weird because some of you might be like, well, what are you talking about food choices for? So this is one of those situations where we're going to kind of have to... it might not, obviously literally be talking about food choices. We're going to kind of apply it to the situation at hand. But I will talk about that in a second after we draw the other cards. So, sustenance is that one. Then from the Nature's Whispers, we have, oh, pretty, it's a unicorn. 46, gratitude and appreciation. Yeah, so I think that's just reaffirming what I was telling you before with my intuition. It's like, I think maybe you're looking for outside validation a little bit too much, which is not a fault. We all do that sometimes. This is just kind of reaffirming that maybe you're looking for that gratitude. You're looking for that appreciation to tell you and let you know, yes, you're doing a great job. And when you hear radio silence, it kind of makes us unnerved. I also feel like this is a bit of a prediction card that you are going to get the gratitude and appreciation that you're looking for. It just hasn't manifested yet necessarily. So we'll keep talking about that in a moment too. And then we have, last but not least, from the Angel Oracle, spiritual growth. Okay, so that also ties into what I was going to tell you about the Judgment card. So perfect tie-in, actually. Not even knowing what this card was, but to tie into your Judgment card. So, I apologize, these 2 tarot cards are a little bit covered, but just remember Judgment and then the Ace of Swords reversed were the last 2. So, in terms of your advice, pile 1, number 1, pat yourself on the back. I say it a lot on this channel, but I'm going to say it again because apparently we all need to hear it lots. We're too hard on ourselves in this community. I don't know why, but we tend to be. So, pat yourself on the back. That's the number 1 thing your spirit guides are telling you, because you are doing a lot better than you think you are. You need to exude a bit more confidence in yourself. Even if, I said earlier, I think you exude a lot of confidence and charisma, but I think the issue is that maybe inside you don't feel a lot of confidence, which, makes sense if you're doubting yourself on something, right? So instead of looking for things outside of yourself to make yourself doubt this thing or yourself less, look at things internally, okay? Especially from a spiritual perspective. And this is where spiritual growth and Judgment comes in, because Judgment is the card of spiritual growth in tarot. It's about, I am rising to the next level. I am, to use a video game term, I'm leveling up, okay? I think it might also be a bit of a hint that you are leveling up in some way too in the near future. I think, especially if it's a job-related thing, some of the gratitude or appreciation and the leveling up might actually mean that you are, I don't know if you're thinking of like there might be a promotion in your near future or your horizon. I'm hearing that for some of you. Okay, so that's like one way that judgment might manifest, especially next to like gratitude and appreciation. All right. I don't think it's something that maybe some of you necessarily see coming. That might be some of the influence of the Ace of Swords reverse too, because the Ace of Swords reverse can be a predictive card in terms of there's some sort of information coming your way that is new that you don't expect, because hence why it's reversed. Okay, so that's why I'm saying there might be a promotion. But yeah, in terms of the spiritual growth thing too, even if it's not like a literal tangible level up in terms of like a promotion or, you know, whatever the equivalent that might be for the situation that you're doubting yourself in, look at the internal validation here of how have you grown spiritually with this journey, pile 1. Instead of thinking, what are the external validations or external material things that I can rely my confidence upon? How do I feel about this whole situation spiritually? Okay, and even if you don't want to look at it spiritually, you could even look at it like, how do I view it like in terms of my growth internally? Okay, so what skills has this taught you? What's something that you did in this situation so far already that you're proud of yourself for? Okay. And I think too, you know, with the spiritual side of things, your spirit guides are basically trying to say, this situation that you're doubting yourself in has been, what's the word? Influential, that's what I want to say, has been influential on your spiritual growth, especially if it's been extra tough. I don't know if you have always kind of suffered from like lacking confidence in yourself, maybe some self-esteem, especially when it comes to the area of, you know, business and career and those things, etc. But I think once you reach the triumph of where this situation that you're doubting yourself in goes, and your triumph, as I said, might be a promotion, it might be, you know, etc., with the things I was talking about there with the level up, you're going to spiritually grow past that feeling of a lack of self-esteem, or spiritually grow past that feeling of, I need that external validation to make me feel better about this situation. You're going to learn more about internal validation here, okay, with this situation. So if you're asking yourself, well, why has this been going on? The spiritual answer is, pile 1, is because it's been teaching you things about finding more confidence to keep going when you doubt yourself, through what am I myself proud of that I have done? What would I pat myself on the back for with this situation, rather than how is everyone else going to pat me on the back? Okay, so it's that kind of viewpoint switch that your spirit guides are saying is the main reason for this situation, okay? Yes, you do look good in the eyes of others. So if you have been doubting yourself in terms of that, it's not that, it's just like, as I said before, pile 1, it's not just because someone hasn't said to you, you're doing a great job, doesn't mean that they don't think that. Some people are just not very good at communicating praise, or they're not very good about communicating like, you know, oh, good job. Sometimes people, like they withhold those things. They're more stoic, you know, but it doesn't mean that internally that they think, just because they don't say it to you, that they think, you know, bad things about you. Okay. So I think, that's more kind of what I'm reading from this situation, especially for those of you who have been wondering like, oh, there's this person in the situation that hasn't been giving me feedback. Why? Like, are they mad at me? Do they hate me? Do I suck? You know, no, pile 1. The answer is they just might not have thought to mention it, because maybe that's just how they roll. Okay. And then, I didn't even talk about your forgive card, your whole pile leader. Yeah, let me think about that. And then also the sustenance card, because like I said, it sounds weird because it sounds like a food choice related thing. I think, though, it seems to me that from what I'm hearing from your spirit guides intuitively, they want you to apply the sustenance or nourishing yourself message more to what you feed yourself emotionally. Okay, and when I say that, I mean when you come across situations of doubt, do you throw into your soul, it's almost weird, they're saying like junk food, like spiritual junk food of like, okay, so when you get outside validation from other people, that can feel really good. That's why we seek it, of course. But it's like your spirit guides are saying in this situation that that's the easy junk food, so to speak, quote unquote, metaphorically speaking. And yes, it tastes good. You know, it's like, you know, you have a bag of Cheetos that tastes really delicious. Is it necessarily good for you? No. So it's like they're asking you to switch your self-esteem diet from the outside validation junk food more to the healthy food of gaining it from your internal validation, as I said, from yourself. What are you proud of, as we already explained earlier, okay? So I think that's kind of what the sustenance message means. In terms of forgive, my first inclination and intuition here is to think that I almost wonder if you're extra hard on yourself because you have made a mistake in the past, and so you're like hyper vigilant and hyper aware of when you make mistakes again. Or it might have been that maybe like your last job, someone was very critical in this area, so you're, once again, maybe like that maybe made you like hyper vigilant. Or it could also be even from childhood too. Maybe you had parents that were like extra critical, and so you kind of trained yourself to think, or they trained you, I should say, to think, well, you know, if I don't get good verbal feedback, that means I'm doing poorly, okay? But the problem is that, you know, we might project that unfairly upon people in our adult life who don't operate the way that, say, our parents did or other, you know, adult figures did when we were children, okay? So just be aware, too, of how your childhood might be affecting this, and also your past, too. So just because you might have made a mistake in the past, pile one, doesn't mean you're going to make a mistake again. And here's the thing I always say about mistakes on this channel. Everybody makes them. I don't think there's any human in the history of the world that has never made a mistake, okay? So at least that's what I always kind of tell myself when I'm beating myself up over mistakes. I always say to myself, well, you know what? There's never been a human being that has lived life flawlessly, okay? To err is to human, okay? Or to be human, not to human. That sounded kind of robotic. All right. Anyways, to err is to be human, right? I guess is what I meant to say. So forgive yourself for those things in the past, pile one, okay? You don't have to let the expectations of the past and your disappointments of the past taint your future, okay? Your spirit guides want you to feel freer. They want you to feel confident in yourself, okay? Just the way that you might portray it to others, you know, fake it till you make it. They want you to feel that internally too, because you are doing a good job, okay? That's the other thing I want you to walk away from this reading with is you're doing a great job. I can see that because of that Page of Wands. Just because you don't see, oh, and also the Judgment card. So just because you don't see activity on the surface because of that Four of Swords doesn't mean that there aren't good things being done or that you don't have skill, okay? So just remember that. And then last but not least, I forgot about your Ace of Swords reversed, at least as like an advice card. In terms of advice, this is the last parting piece the spirit guides have for you is Ace of Swords reversed can represent a situation where you're being told to view things in a new way. Okay, so we already kind of talked about that with, you know, like junk food thoughts versus happy validation, healthy validation thoughts, right? We also talked about that in terms of not always assuming that silence means necessarily a bad thing, okay? So just analyzing this situation where viewing it from a different perspective might help you, because that's what the Sword Suit and Tarot is all about. It is the suit of the mind and air, and about the way we see things logically and the way we reason and our intelligence and all those good things, okay? So view this logically. Maybe you've been viewing a little bit too emotionally, like not as a flaw, but your spirit guides are saying with that Ace of Swords reversed, maybe try to think through it more logically rather than let your emotions guide the way in terms of this doubt, okay? Did you get all your work done? Did you do everything to the utmost of your ability? Are you trying your best? And you know what? Beyond all those questions, if you said yes to every single one, you got nothing to worry about, okay? So the only thing we can do in life is to try our best. All right, so as long as you do that, pile number one, don't doubt yourself. So that was a reading for today on a message for when you are doubting yourself. I hope, of course, that it helped you, you liked it, it resonated, all that good stuff I always say at the end of the readings. But I really, truly do hope that you walk away from this reading feeling like you have a new tool in your toolbox to, you know, address life and walk forward with your head held a little bit higher. So if so, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you so much if you choose to do any one of those things. And as we say in our tradition, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. And I hope to see you in the next reading, pile one. Bye. Hello there, my wonderful pile number two. Welcome today to your pick a card reading on a message for when you are doubting yourself. And as you recall, you were drawn to purpose as your pile leader today. Kind of an odd image, but I like it. It's like a stopwatch that has been melted. And time kind of doesn't necessarily apply, is kind of what I read from that message. So I almost wonder if a lot of you that are drawn to this reading, or this pile today, I should say, it might not necessarily be that you're doubting yourself in a specific situation, or if you are, it's really more of an overall doubt throughout your entire life that your spirit guides want to help you address today that might be affecting this one specific doubt that you're kind of focused on. Okay, does that kind of make sense? And I say that because of that time message. It almost feels like your spirit guides are saying with that card, this doesn't really apply to a specific time. Hence why it might have been something that, as I said, has affected you like your whole life. So let's get some more context here with the tarot spread. We'll get some advice too, more understanding on what's going on. Thank you, spirit guides. Okay, that one for sure wanted to come out, so we'll take it. And these two for sure too. Beautiful. And let's unveil your cards. So first up to bat, we have the Ace of Swords. Okay. A little bit of air energy. Then next up, we have more air energy, but with the Two of Swords reversed this time. I almost wonder if, as I said, I think this might be a lifelong thing, but if you have a specific doubt that you're worrying about, it's probably due to indecision. Like, you're not sure about how to go about doing something or what path to take, or like you took a path, you made a choice, especially because this is like the recent past position, and you're kind of doubting the choice that you made. I think that's how that might apply to some of you, but let's keep going. We have the Magician reversed. Okay. Maybe we're doubting the path because we feel like we haven't been manifesting the things that we want from it. That's what that card might mean, especially as the heart of the matter. Then we have the World. Good news. Good news. And last but not least, we have the Eight of Swords reversed. Also great news. Okay. So I'm going to draw your oracle cards as I describe your tarot spread, just to save some time. So if you're shuffling in the background, that's what that is. But what I do want to tell you, pile 2, today is whatever you're doubting yourself over, I understand that the main engine of your doubt has been a lack of tangible results. I can tell that just because of the Magician reversed as the heart of the matter. That is the card of, I've been trying to manifest things. I've brought my all. I've crossed my T's, I've dotted my I's, but sometimes it still feels like, I'm not really getting this engine going anywhere, like, or, I guess I meant the engine more in terms of, as I said, like, that's what's fueling your doubt, but yeah, so, just in general, like, the sensation of, man, I'm just not getting anywhere, I feel like I'm not getting the results that I require. Okay, and I think, as I said, it probably stemmed from you wanted a new direction in life, or you tried something new. That's oftentimes where the Ace of Swords as an inciting incident card can come into play. A new mindset, a new logical shift in terms of like, oh, I'm going to focus on this now. So then you came to a choice. I think it was a difficult choice, pile 2. That's what that Two of Swords reversed means. It means, we've been kind of indecisive about something. Maybe that's even part of the reason why you feel as if you're not manifesting things on this path. Because you're like, oh man, did I make the wrong choice? Hence the indecisiveness. It can also mean that you were sure about the path at the time, but now that you're not getting the results that you want, you're like, I don't know, maybe that was a poor choice. What I will tell you, pile 2, is you're well on your way to better results. And I say that because in the future, you have the World card. And the World card is about the end of a cycle. That's literally what it means. It's the very end, final card of a major arcana. It's kind of like when we're in a situation in life where we've been in one phase for a while, and then the World comes up, and that represents, okay, we're going to close the door on this old thing and open up to new. So some of you, it might get better through you going maybe kind of tweaking your path a little bit. I don't necessarily see that you are making like a major change, like going back to maybe what you were originally doing, or, going on like the complete opposite path that maybe you were debating between going on like that path or this one, right? because, I mean, the world can mean ending something, so it can mean that perhaps you're like, well, maybe I'll just kind of, I'll tweak it a bit, and I'll kind of end exactly what I'm doing right now, and try something a little bit new. But for some of you, too, it can also mean that, like, the cycle is coming to an end in terms of this feeling of not manifesting things, okay? So, whatever you choose, and this is why I'm saying it could be that you end this path, it could also be that you continue on this path, and then the cycle comes to an end no matter what way, is because I'm feeling from your spirit guides that they really want you to have... well, we have free will in all of our decisions in life, pile 2, but specifically I'm hearing they want you to make this decision without them necessarily weighing in. Because, hear me out, I know that sounds weird. They're basically saying you're going to find success no matter what path you choose. Whether you stay on what you're doing, like if you keep going on the path that you're doubting on, or if you go to, like I said, tweak it a little bit, or maybe do something new, and like that's the mechanism, that's like the ending of the chapter, you'll find success that way too. Okay, it's more about they want you to find what is more aligned with what makes you feel freer, and that's where this energy of the Eight of Swords reversed comes in as the very final card. The Eight of Swords reversed is representative of a time of, I have felt trapped, I felt stuck in some place. That's even why you see this card here. It's like this one white sword that's trapped by a bunch of other swords, but then one has made it free. Okay, especially reversed. It's like, okay, I finally busted out of this mental prison I've been keeping myself in. So they want you to choose, going forward, what would make me feel the most free, or what would give me the most freedom to pursue what I want to do. What makes my soul and my heart feel free. And that is the mechanism through which you'll find success with this, whatever this thing that you've been doubting has been. Okay, so for some of you, the free path might be like, okay, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, even if right now I doubt it. For some of you, the free path might be like, oh, well, I feel kind of constrained with what I've been doing, so I'm going to choose the other thing because that seems freer to me. Either way, choose what makes you feel mentally freer, and you'll be on the right path, okay? So that's why spirit guides aren't giving you a specific... They don't want me to tell you like a specific do this or do that. Follow what your heart says in terms of your freedom and what makes you feel like you've escaped, a prison, or makes you feel like you're able to spread your wings, just use different metaphors, okay? Oh, I forgot to draw your last oracle card here, okay? So, choose freedom. Because I think it is linked to your purpose. Speaking of your pile leader, we didn't discuss that quite in detail yet. Your purpose in life, pile 2, isn't so much a specific thing that you do. Hey, look at that, make a decision. You really are indecisive. No wonder why you're doubting yourself here, pile 2. But as I was saying, your life purpose isn't necessarily what you do. It's in doing something that gives you mental freedom and spiritual freedom. Okay? And literally, I was just talking about spreading your wings. Choose what makes you feel free, okay? Make a decision. Maybe even some of you are at the point of making another decision too. Maybe that's why that came out. And once again, your advice in that situation would be choose what makes you feel free. What makes you feel like you have wings. And then we have the Cat Wisdom Oracle today. I thought it would be cute to use cats because, when we're doubting ourselves, we want a little bit of a pick-me-up. Cats are cute, my opinion at least. And we have family for you. The backside says, your family might be the one you were born into, or maybe you've crafted a family around you by seeking the company of like-minded souls. But either way, this card is a reminder to appreciate those that make up your tribe. You can always turn to them when you need some support, advice, or a good laugh or cry. Have you told them lately how much they mean to you? Okay, so it could also mean, too, that you're being guided to make a choice towards family, literally blood, or it could also mean, like, found family, of course. It could also mean, too, that part of, some of you, I almost wonder if you're debating between doing something that would take you away from your family more, or something that would allow you to be with your family more, in which case you're being encouraged to maybe seek your family a little bit more, if that's something that you feel would make you happier or freer, using that metaphor again, okay? Yeah, family. Okay, and then from the Angel Guide Oracle, we have Earth and Ground. That can be a card that comes up when we've been a little bit too lost in our head and not enough in the reality around us. So that particular card I would recommend for you, pile 2, maybe to do some grounding meditations or exercises. There's tons of them on YouTube. I always just say, look up grounding meditation. Beautiful, lots of wonderful work out there from everyone on the platform that does provide those meditations. And that might also help you through this doubt and this deliberation that you've been going through, okay? Because, sometimes, especially because you have a lot of air cards, and this happens a lot when we have lots of air cards, and I say this as an air sign, so I totally understand getting lost in mental anxiety and spirals and like that, because you do have Ace of Swords, 2 of Swords, and the 8 of Swords, and 2 of them are reversed, so that can represent that we're maybe a little bit too stuck in anxiety, a little bit too stuck in what our mind is saying, and a little bit too stuck in thinking about things logically, which logic is great, not going to say it isn't, but sometimes we think about things so logically that we kind of, we don't open our eyes to see the possibilities, okay? We think about, well, this is logically how it would go, so logically this is what I would do. There is beauty and balance between the mind and the heart, okay? So your spirit guides are kind of saying, use your mind, yeah, but let's adjust a little bit here to a balance between the mind and the heart, okay? So also, maybe some heart chakra meditations, too, would also help. I do see that, especially when there's lots of green in your Earth and Ground card, too. So heart chakra, grounding meditations, earth-centered meditations. You can even do it where, depending, of course, the weather and where you live, go out in nature, earth and ground. Root yourself in the present moment where you are, rather than in the future so much. What does your mind and your heart say right now? Okay? And that will always guide you right. Okay. Let's look at over other cards. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything, because it's quite straightforward. I just will say to pile 2 that I understand it's been frustrating having made this decision that maybe you already were kind of not so sure about, for those of you especially that the decision was already in the past, and I say that because, there's a 2 of Swords kind of in the recent past position. Totally understand that that's frustrating, and your spirit guides are acknowledging that. It totally makes sense in your situation why you would be doubting, okay, is what I'm trying to say, because when we don't have tangible outside results to what we're doing, we can sometimes lose our enthusiasm or our hope that we're on the right path. Pile 1 actually had a similar message, so I'll tell you kind of the same thing. Just because you don't get external validations in terms of what is materially manifested doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing the wrong thing or that you're doing something incorrectly or badly, okay? I think maybe your anxiety around this might spiral more around, you think, well, if I am successful, I will measure it by the outside material things the goals that I'm trying to achieve, okay, which, yes, makes sense, but sometimes we also need to look at, well, what have I accomplished or achieved here internally as well? What have I done in this situation that I'm proud of myself for? Maybe it was even taking the leap of faith in the first place. That is not easy, okay, so if you took a leap of faith, pile 2, pat yourself on the back. Maybe through this drought of external manifestation, you've thought to yourself, man, this has been tough, but I'm going to keep going. What that means is then, in that case, pat yourself on the back for your courage, for your confidence in yourself. Also for giving yourself the space to try. A lot of people coast through life not even giving their dreams a chance. They think, well, that's just the way life is. I'll just keep going on this path because it's the devil I know. A bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. Whatever other phrases you want to use, things like that. But when we don't give our dreams room to thrive and we don't give them a platform to try, sometimes opportunities pass us by. So if you seize the day, carpe diem, right? If you took a leap of faith, you tried, even that pile 2 is a success in and of itself, okay? The success in life isn't getting the material answer to your efforts. The success in life is trying in the first place, okay? And I actually, at least in my own opinion, my own life, as long as you keep trying, usually you will find success in the end, okay? So keep trying, pile 2. I know it's hard. I know it feels like there's a drought of feedback or a drought of things tangibly coming your way, be it money, be it feedback, be it, I'm trying to think of other things, applause from other people, etc. But you're doing the right thing as long as you're following what makes you feel free. So choose what gives you wings. Choose what makes you feel like you're in an environment that makes you like it's a family around you, okay? Be it blood or not, found family as well. Look into grounding or earth-related meditations, I meant to say, or earthing. I guess that's not really a word. And just know that your struggles will come to an end very soon with this, be it because you keep going on the same path, if that's what makes you feel free, okay? Or if you choose a new path, because that's the path that makes you feel more free. Your struggles will come to an end with this manifestation problem that way as well, okay? So as long as you say, hey, heart, what key do you need to unlock your cage? You'll be on the right path. Beautiful. So that was your reading for today, my wonderful pile number 2 on a message for when you're doubting yourself. If it helped you, if it resonated, if you liked it, please comment, like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff, and thank you so much if you choose to do any one of those 3 things, if not more. And as we always say in our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, full of less doubt, right? Okay. Follow your heart, and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 2. Hello there, my wonderful pile 3. Welcome today to your pick a card reading on a message when you're doubting yourself. And as you recall, you were drawn to balance as your pile leader. So we have 4 different quadrants. It talks about parallelism, things being brought into equilibrium, and balance, hence the title. So I almost wonder if a lot of you were drawn to this pile because what you're doubting yourself about is related to a balance in your life of some sort. Maybe you're wondering if you're doing too much of one thing and not enough of another, or you're wondering like, oh, should I add this thing to my life? Oh, but will it throw this thing out of balance? We'll see more details, of course, with your other cards, but that is intuitively kind of what I'm sensing for at least some of you. So speaking of, let's draw your tarot spread. Spirit guides for my wonderful pile 3 today. Could you tell me a little bit more about the thing that they're doubting themselves with? Actually, we'll shuffle that again because that was not my best shuffle. There we go. That one's a bit better. Beautiful. Thank you. What is pile 3 doubting themselves about? Sounds odd. I usually don't pick this many cards at once, but they were all kind of sticking out. So I'm going to take these 3 to begin. Wonderful. And number 4. Number 5. Let's see what your tarot cards have to say. So first up to bat, we have the 8 of Swords. Prominent theme in a lot of the piles today. Feeling stuck in some way, perhaps. Feeling trapped. Let's keep going. Then we have the Explorer, or in most decks it's known as the Knight of Cups reversed. Maybe you're feeling a bit of reluctance to follow our heart in some way, or feeling like our heart might be guiding us wrong. Then the middle card is Justice. So speaking of balance, we literally have the card of balance in tarot, just like your pile leader. Equilibrium. Black and white, one thing or another. What's right, what's wrong. Then we have the Fool, new beginning. And then, last but not least, we have the Explorer, or the Knight of Swords. So I'll explain your tarot spread a bit as I draw your oracle cards, pile 3, but what I'm seeing so far, yes, as I said, for some of you, I think this doubt is related to balance in your life, literally, as in terms of, like, maybe you feel like you're doing too much of one thing or not enough of another, or, like, you might be coming across a crossroads in terms of deciding on what path to take, and you're wondering, like, what is the more balanced path to take, or you're afraid, well, if I take this one path, will it take away from other areas of my life? Like, a tangible example might be like, say you're looking at a new job and it's a little bit farther away from, say, your family, okay? So you might think to yourself, well, this job might be great, but will it take away from the balance of the time I spend with my family? Now, that might not apply to all of you, but that's just one example. There we go. Speaking of being around other people, we have the solitude card. And then, yes, balance. Let's grab your other deck here. And I think in some way the reason you were spurred to even consider this was because of that Eight of Swords energy, as well as the influence of the Page of Cups. Or I'm sorry, that's not the page, that's the Knight of Cups with the Explorer energy reversed. And what that means to me is, I don't know, you feel trapped in some way. I feel like pile 3, you also might feel like where you were before or where you are right now, if you haven't made the decision quite yet, you feel like you're not really following your heart. And I say that because the Knight of Cups is someone who takes action with their feelings or what their heart feels, okay? Also with their relationships, too. That's another domain that the Cups suit explores in tarot. So once again, like, it could even be, you know, with the example that I brought up with family, like maybe you feel like your relationships might erode a little bit if you choose one thing over another. Or maybe you feel like they have been. Maybe someone brought it up to you and said, hey, you know, you're doing great with this one thing, but I feel like you're not paying enough attention to this other area of your life. So maybe that's kind of where you started feeling doubt in that way too. And maybe that's even where you feel trapped too, pile 3, because you might say to yourself, well, you know what, like, I get that, but I'm kind of stuck with the balance that I have right now. I feel like I can't really change that. Okay, so there might be doubting yourself in terms of, you know, feeling like you're not able to control your situation or control the outcome, things like that. Kind of a varied pile today. Lots of different possible interpretations, but in general, yeah. Especially because Justice came out too, speaking of the next card, which literally is, as I said when I pulled it out, the card of balance, things being in equilibrium. So I will tell you this, pile 3, you are on the path towards the equilibrium or balance that you are seeking with what you're doing right now. And I say that because you have Justice as your heart of the matter. That's your present moment. Sometimes I interpret it that way too. I think the biggest North Star you should follow with this, if you're still facing a decision though, is what is the most fair to all involved. Okay. What is the most just to all involved? And I think this is going to lead you to a decision to do something new. And I say that because in the near future, you have the Fool. And the Fool in tarot, my friends, often represents a time when we are starting a new adventure. It's literally the 0 card in the major arcana. It's the card of, okay, I'm done with this old chapter. Now I'm going to embark on something new. So I think you're being guided with this to follow your heart, as maybe you weren't before with that Knight of Cups reversed. You're being guided to follow justice. And that justice literally might even be in terms of what's fairest to you. Maybe you've been overly fair to everybody else and not yourself. And so you're saying to yourself, you know what, maybe I need more time for myself. Maybe I need to direct my life more in terms of what do I want out of it rather than what other people want out of it. And I say that because literally your first oracle card that popped out, cute little ginger kitten. I picked up my cat deck today. I thought it'd be cute for a reading where we're doubting ourselves, because we need to pick me up when we're doubting ourselves, right? You have solitude. It says, great peace can be found in solitude. Set aside some time each day, even if it's only 5 minutes, to be alone. Be comfortable in your own company. You will calm your mind and attain a new sense of clarity. So, you know, I almost wonder if a lot of you really, the true answer is leaning more towards you need more time to yourself here. It may be that you're doubting yourself a lot too in general, maybe not just with this situation, but overall in your life, pile 3, because you don't listen to yourself enough. You don't give yourself enough alone time. You don't give yourself enough focus, because maybe you're so focused on everybody else. And that might also be where the balance theme is coming in too. And the fairness theme with the Justice card is maybe you're not fair enough or balanced enough with yourself. Maybe you give all your time to your job and to everyone else around you and to your projects, but you never really give it time to check in with yourself and say, well, how am I feeling today? How do I feel about this thing that I am doing? How am I coping emotionally and mentally? Am I stressed? Am I burned out? Maybe you don't even think about those things because you're so wrapped up in just making sure that everybody else is pleased that you don't even remember, well, I need to please myself too. I think that's where that solitude card comes in. So for most of you, I almost wonder, like I said, I think it's kind of leaning more towards the balance might be you need more time to yourself and for your own things rather than other people. I think maybe you have been out of balance in maybe just giving too much of yourself to others. It's good to give to others, don't get me wrong. It's great to be selfless, pile 3, but at the same time, it's okay to take time for yourself. To use the old quote, you can't fill everyone else's cups if your own is empty. Okay, you can't pour from an empty cup, so you need time to fill your own cup. And I think that's where a lot of this doubt will erase itself, because really this doubt might actually be you just haven't been tuning in with yourself enough to know and reassure yourself that this is the path I want to take, or yes, this is the thing that I want, or yes, I'm doing good with whatever it is that I'm doubting myself with, okay? Maybe, too, that could also be, maybe you're listening too much to others with that solitude card. It might mean that some of your doubt is really just from other people that are weighing in, and they're not necessarily being fair to you. That's another meaning of the justice card, too. Other people might be saying things that are kind of skewing your opinion, Maybe they're dissing you. Maybe that's why you've been doubting yourself. Maybe you have been unfairly criticized, and you believed it, and you thought, well, In which case, pile 3, what that means is to listen to yourself more. How do you feel about the situation? Don't always stuff your own feelings down to make everybody else happy. Okay. And that does lead into your final card, which I didn't talk about yet. The Explorer, or the Knight of Swords. Okay, that is someone that takes action with logic. So after you spend this time in solitude, figuring out, connecting with yourself, where do I really want to go? What do I want? What is most fair to all involved, including myself? Okay, especially yourself, because of this theme coming through. Then take action logically with, okay, this is the logic I extracted from my time alone, thinking about it. Now go forward with it with speed. That's another thing, because the Knight of Swords is the fastest card of the knights in tarot. Okay, so they also say don't hesitate. And I wonder, too, if some of you are looking for a new beginning. It might even be that you wanted to do something new and you were criticized because of that Fool card. It's like new adventures, as I was saying, or like new chapters in your life. I don't know. In which case, pile 3, I feel like you're being told to choose the new because of that Fool card. That's another piece of advice they have for you today. We haven't even looked at your other oracle cards yet. We have Love Matters 43. And I think in your case today, pile 3, Love Matters is really more of a self-love message rather than other people. I think you're being told to give yourself more of that self-love. I think that's where a lot of this doubt is coming from, because you haven't nurtured your own belief in the value of what you yourself think, okay? Or you haven't nurtured the self-love in order to value what you yourself need. Okay, so if there's any tangible advice you walk away from this reading with, it's to work on self-love exercises, especially in terms of when it comes to confidence in your decisions and when it comes to making sure that you weigh your own opinion on your own life and your own decisions just as much as you weigh the influence of others' opinions, okay? Because I think that's where this equilibrium is getting out of balance. It's like you maybe giving too much credibility to what everybody else is saying and not enough yourself, okay? And to do that, you have to access that through the door of self-love, to love yourself enough to value your own opinion of your own destiny and your own journey, okay? Then your angel guide oracle is, take a step back. Lots of solitude. I almost wonder too if some of you might, if it's available to you. I don't assume anyone's situation, but if it's available to you, maybe taking a small vacation, maybe taking a small break just to be alone, because you have a lot of cards that are about solitude, of course, with the little cute ginger kitten. Actually, I'm going to put that up because it's cute. It's a cute thing to stare at, right? Look at the cute kitty. And then we have we'll take a step back too. It's literally a wintry scene. There's snowflakes, and it's also about get out of a situation is kind of what it means. If it's available to you, maybe consider taking a vacation for yourself alone. I think it would be a really good retreat for you. I almost kind of feel like you, it's like the Hermit in Tarot vibes, if you're familiar with that card. There's a lot of wisdom waiting for you in that time of solitude. Or if that's not available to you, which I totally understand, like, economy's not great, everyone's kind of struggling with money for the most part. Totally get that, or, say you're working a kind of job where, like, they wouldn't allow you to take that break, so to speak. It might just, not just be money, it might be also time. Take as much time as you can each day, even if it's just 5 minutes to yourself, even if it's not a vacation, right? To tune in with yourself and do something for yourself, okay? So say to yourself, pile 3, tonight before bed, I'm going to give myself 5 minutes to meditate on what is it that I want out of my day tomorrow? Or what did I do today that was aligned with what I want out of life most? Questions like that. Or do self-care at home too. You can even do little at-home, stay-home vacations, right? Take a day or 2 off. Take a nice bubble bath if you can. Go book a massage if that's available to you. Do just whatever self-love means to you. Take yourself on a date. Even that too, if that's available to you once again. Go out to your favorite restaurant alone. Okay. Your spirit guides are saying your doubt would lessen if you spent more time with yourself and listening to your own voice rather than the voice of everyone else around you, okay? So really, I think what this boils down to is it's kind of a reading where your spirit guides are pointing out where things have been unfair to you, and they want you to tune into your own voice more so you can realize, oh, I maybe I do have something that, like, I've been stifling down and I've just been kind of pushing down because, sometimes in life we think it's easier just to stuff our own feelings down and, just to please others. You might maybe a little bit of a people-pleasing type of thing here. Totally understand that. Done that myself. I'm not pointing any fingers. Neither are your spirit guides. But the problem with people-pleasing is that we turn ourselves into a mat for everybody else to wipe their shoes on. Okay, so what your spirit guides are saying is we want you to not be the mat that pleases everybody else, that everyone else wipes their problems off on. We want you to feel empowered to nurture yourself more and take care of yourself more, okay? We want you to take a step back from other people. Okay. Try to get as much time to yourself as possible. And I know, once again, that might be difficult for some of you. Totally understand. We're all in different, living different lives. Okay. Sometimes it's very hard just to get time to yourself. I understand that. Maybe you got kids. Maybe you got your job. Maybe you got your other family members. You got all those things. It takes up a lot of your time, but that's what's most valuable to you right now. Your spirit guides are saying with this doubt. And I think when you do step into that retreat and that solitude, you're going to find the complete answer that will remove all doubts completely about whatever it is that has been bothering you, okay? And I think, as I said, it might lead you to a new path here with the Fool. New beginnings, that's what that card means. An action taken based on that wisdom, that thought that was cultivated within solitude, okay? And that will bring more balance to your life. That will make you feel freer, too. Because remember that 8 of Swords in the very beginning? And that next to it was that Knight of Cups reversed, was that feeling of, I am trapped, A, and B, I feel like I can't take any actions based on what my heart says. I didn't see it at the time, because we didn't have these oracle cards out yet, but I think that's what that really meant, is you feel trapped, pile 3. And the key to out of that jail cell of feeling trapped is, what does my heart say? What do I say? And that will help free you from that doubt. And I think that's really what the trap is here. You're trapped by doubt, hence probably why you came to this reading, duh. But, the answer is self-love. And putting a megaphone to what your heart is saying rather than stuffing it down, okay? And that will bring the peace and the clarity that you're looking for. Beautiful. So take care of yourself, pile 3. You've been neglecting yourself too much, okay? Is what your spirit guides at least are saying to me, right? They're saying, you know what, pile 3, maybe you need a vacation or a staycation or something. Because, you know what? Life has been hard on you recently. In general, but in recently especially, I can tell. You deserve some rest. Okay? So that was a reading for today on a message for when you're doubting yourself. As I always say, if you liked it, if it resonated, number one, if it helped you, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. Thank you so much if you choose to do any one of those 3 things, if not more. And as I always say in our tradition on the channel, I wish you a wonderful, more relaxed, and maybe some solitude vacation kind of day. Pile number 3. And I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye.